everyone, it's Bethany. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for clicking on my video. I am so happy to have you here, and if you are brand new, please be sure to subscribe so that you can see what's coming to my craft table this fall and winter. So if you are a current subscriber and have been sticking around for a while, you know that I have been hinting about my new love for fabric. So fabric is something that you have not previously seen in my craft room very much, but now I am bringing more and more into my craft room, and every time I go into the fabric section, I am falling more and more in love with that part of the craft store. So I am buying a lot of fabric, and recently I shared in my little community tab that I'm buying fabric, and I was having you all guess why you think I am buying fabric, and one of you came up with the right answer. So before I reveal what the answer is, I want to talk about what we're going to do in this tutorial today. So again, I've been purchasing a lot of fabric and I want to get it all organized, and I've been starting to organize it behind the scenes, and I can't wait to share a little bit more about what I'm doing. So I have lots of fabric. I mainly purchase it in fat quarters or quarter yards, so I'm not purchasing huge amounts, and you'll see why in just a little bit, but I wanted a really pretty way and a really organized way to get it all organized. So you guys know I'm very, very type A. I like things to be just so in my craft room, and I like things to be super pretty visually, which is a little unrealistic sometimes because we're all very messy crafters, but I'm trying to set myself up for success and getting my fabric all organized from the get-go, and I found a really fun idea. So thank you to the Momogram Mompreneur. I was watching her channel and she was showing how she organizes her fabric. So we are going to be doing something similar today with some little comic boards, and I will also share some little clips as well, and we're going to get everything all organized. So before we get started organizing all this fabric, let's talk about what I am doing with all of this fabric. And some of you probably can already tell by what's on my back counter right there. So I finally bought my very first embroidery machine. I am just over the moon. This has been a dream come true for a while now. I have been praying about it and saving all of my pennies, and now I am the proud owner of a new Babylock Alliance, and I'm so excited. I have been playing with it behind the scenes, and I'm having so much fun. So I will be bringing some applique projects to the channel this fall and winter, and I am so excited to share more about it because it is a lot of fun, and I have been having so much fun learning this new machine. So before I go any further, I wanted to also mention to all of my Cricut lovers that the Cricut stuff is not going away. I'm still doing a lot of Cricut projects and Cricut DIYs on my channel, but I could not help but just make this dream come true for myself because I have spent a lot of time wanting to do this, and life is short. The kids are little, only so long, and I just have to do this now. So how did I get myself into this mess and go down this rabbit hole of machine embroidery and applique? So I spent most of my third trimester and the first month that my son was born just researching everything I could about machine embroidery and applique, and the more I learned, the more I fell in love with it. The more I learned, the more I could not talk myself out of it, and I just absolutely love the look of cute little applique shirts and cute little applique hand towels. Those are so cute. And I love the idea of doing monograms with embroidery. It's just all up my alley. I was totally made for this style of crafting, and I'm so excited because as I'm playing around with it, I'm just noticing how much joy it's bringing to me, and I can't wait to share more of it with you. So I spent most of my third trimester, and then again the first month that my son was born, watching a lot of tutorials. My favorite tutorials are from Carly Bell and from the Embroidery Nurse and from the Momogram Mompreneur. They all do such a wonderful job with machine embroidery, and I have learned so much by watching them, and I just had to get my first machine after watching all of the beautiful things that they make. So we're going to get organizing with our fabric, but I just wanted to share a little bit about why I finally want to do this, and it's honestly because my kids are growing so fast. I absolutely love little applique shirts, and I can't wait to make some things for them. And you know what? Sometimes you just have to start something new because when it comes to crafting, I am most refreshed when I'm learning, and I love learning new things. I love venturing to new areas of the craft store, and this just gets me super excited. So I'll be sharing more about my Babylock Alliance in some tutorials coming up. We have named her Babs because it's the most adorable name ever. So Babs and I are going to be doing a lot of crafting, and I can't wait for you to see some of the things that I have made. They are so cute. I would show you right now, but my kids are wearing them because everybody's just so in love. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. For organizing our fabric, again, I am going to be organizing mostly fat quarters because with applique, you really don't need to be buying multiple yards of fabric unless you are, of course, a business and you're going to be doing repeated applique shirts or projects. So mostly when it comes to applique, you'll be doing just fine with quarter yard or fat quarters. So a lot of the fabric that I have is in that size. So what I'm going to use are these little comic boards, or comic book boards, and then I have these little plastic clips as well, and I will share more about these in the description box below the video. There it goes, focusing. But what we're going to do is I'm going to actually trim these down to fit for my fat quarters. So I'm going to switch to the overhead camera. I'm going to get these trimmed down and then show you how I'm getting them all pretty and organized. And you can see a little bit behind my machine over here how I am starting to get them all organized and ready to go. I am sure that tiny little stash of fabric is going to continue to grow and grow because fabric shopping is quite a lot of fun. All right, let's go ahead and get started getting everything organized. Okay, so we have our comic book boards. You can just purchase these on Amazon. I'll link the ones and the size that I purchased down below. Again, what I'm going to do is I am going to trim them down to size. They are just a little bit big for what I'm going to be using with quarter yard size fabric. But if you are buying fabric, that is a lot bigger and in more of a bulk quantity, then this size is probably just fine for you. So again, mine are in a lot smaller pieces because for applique, you just don't need a ton. And especially for the little projects that I will be doing. Okay, so I'm going to set my pretty fabric to the side and we're going to get all of this organized today. Really quickly, what I'm going to do is just cut these. I think I'm going to cut about 1 inch off. Let me see what it ended up being, and I will post the final measurements for you. Let's see how much that ended up being off the side. That was about 1.5 inches, roughly. So I'm going to trim off 1.5 inches, and then I am going to cut this right down the middle. And then I have 2 pieces right here, and these are what are going to provide the base, this very sturdy base, to wrap my fat quarter fabric around and get it all pretty and nice. So before I get into that, I'm just going to trim all of these pieces down, and I'll trim most of them, but not all of them because I don't have too many to organize today. I did a lot of organizing yesterday, but let me go ahead and get this trimmed, and then we will start organizing the fabric. Okay, so I think I'm just going to stop here, and then as I purchase fabric, I will probably just keep trimming these down as well. In fact, I will probably just sit and binge watch some fun YouTube tutorials and trim all of these all at once at a later time. So that's one of my favorite things to do. I love watching other crafters craft while I am crafting. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to get everything ready to wrap around these little bases. So when so again, these are comic book boards, and when my husband saw that these were in the Amazon cart, he was so confused. He said, "Bethany, why are you buying comic book boards? What could you possibly need those for?" And it is really funny too. It's one thing I never thought, never say never. I never thought I would be buying comic book boards, but what they do is they provide a really sturdy base for you to wrap your fabric around so that you can place them, upend them, or I guess I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but you can stack them and have them, stack like books, and they look really, really pretty so that you can visually see all of your fabric at once. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and take these little boards. I'm going to grab my first piece of fabric here. Again, I am doing fat quarters, so that's why I wanted to have mine trimmed down a little bit less in terms of board size. But I'm just going to wrap about 1 inch around here, and sometimes you're going to have to wrap more or less depending on the length or the size of the material that you have. But I'm just gonna wrap that all the way around. Then I'm gonna take these little clips and then I will secure them right on the end here to hold that little flap of fabric that has been wrapped around. And then I have a nice little piece of fabric all organized just like this. So then I can go ahead and do my next one, and then I'll show you kind of the point of it all. Looks really good. And some of them, because, you know, the sweet little lady at the fabric counter doesn't cut perfectly every time. So some of them do end up being a little bit longer or a little bit shorter than others. Not everything is perfectly uniform as much as I wish it was. So sometimes you have to wrap them just a little bit differently, but they all turn out and look really nice. So then I have two little pieces just like this, and then I can stack them next to each other and you can see them all lined up really nicely. This really helps when I need to go really quickly to find fabric for an applique project, and I'm putting mine in rainbow order, which I'll show you later, so I can just go to the blues section or the pink section, which is, as you can imagine, the pink section is quite big because I love pink, but I can just quickly visually scan to that section and see what I have, or if I need to go back to the fabric store, which don't we all need a excuse to go back to the fabric store? Honestly. Okay, so, and I also just fold this if I find that, you know, this is going to be too long. I'm just folding that over so that just about a little over an inch is there. And then again, securing them with these little fasteners, and I'll link everything that I'm using down below so you can take a closer look at. But look how pretty that looks. Isn't that pretty? This fabric, by the way, is Cricut fabric. I got it off of their site. I actually purchased it over a year ago, I think, and I had absolutely no idea that I even wanted to get into applique over a year ago. I'm not even sure I really knew exactly what applique was or machine embroidery. So it's funny how those things work out. I probably purchased this for something completely different in mind, and now it's going to be a part of this fun new dream that I have. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and secure this here. This is a really pretty green. I love buying in fat quarter bundles as well because everything is just so pretty and coordinated. I love how all of that looks, those navies, and I really love a navy and a bright pink together. I'm actually going to use that this Friday to do a project for my daughter, so I need to keep that out. Okay, so now really quickly, I'm just going to go through the remaining little pieces of fabric, and I'll get these all folded and ready to go. Okay, so this is my last little piece of fabric to get organized. Again, I'll trim down the rest of my boards so they're always ready when I come home from a shopping trip. But how pretty does this look? I love how this looks. It's so nice and organized. Again, I can go ahead and place them in rainbow order on my little fabric shelf that will soon probably be fabric shelves if I have anything to say about it, and get it all organized and pretty. And I hope this was helpful for you. So again, depending on what size of fabric you typically buy, you can probably just use the full length of this. What's funny is that if you look in the comment section or review section of Amazon, most people are purchasing these comic board covers or comic board comic book boards, I mean, they're mostly purchasing them for this purpose. So it's really funny how something is made for one thing and it ends up being reused for something entirely different. I just love that about people being so creative. So, all right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this. I'll show you a little after photo of how my fabric looks at the end of this video. So I hope this was helpful to you. Please be sure you are all ready to go. Get excited. It's going to be so fun. I can't wait to share what I have been working on, and I'm just so proud of it, and I'm really, really excited to bring it to the channel. All right, everyone, have a good day, and I will see you all in the next video.